So Rob, what do you think about all of the cold water immersion stuff, the popularity of people jumping in ice baths and whatnot?
Contrast hydrotherapy and everything. It's good stuff. I mean, it's definitely cool. The thing about the ice baths in particular, so like if you do it post-workout, it appears to blunt the adaptation for the workout. So like if you're a CrossFit Games competitor and you need to, or some sort of high-level competitor, and you need to be ready to go again quickly, and you don't really have time to allow the normal inflammatory process to occur in between a training session, then I could see the benefit. But the point of training is not really the training, it's the adaptation that occurs. And this cold water immersion can really shut that down. It appears to be somewhat similar to taking NSAIDs. So, you know, it's funny, like physical activity, the adaptation that occurs with that is more in the heat shock protein family versus the cold shock protein families, which all of these things are hormetic stress responses. All of them have great benefit, but the heat shock proteins are more specific to actual physical activity. And so I could make a case, and maybe it's just my bias because I don't actually like cold water immersion too much. Nikki likes it better than I do, but like I would rather a sauna, a hot immersion than a cold one. And I kind of feel like even if I did a hard weight training session, if I did a hard jiu-jitsu session, and then I do heat exposure, I just feel better after that. Like it kind of, I don't know, and I'm sure that, you know, again, the poisons in the dose on all that stuff, I think there's benefits to both sides of this temperature extreme exposure. There's clear research that supports that, but I guess it being almost 50, and I've done a lot of stuff in my life because I thought I should do it, and now, like, I look at, you know, what are some things that are potentially beneficial? Cold immersion, heat exposure. Okay, I fucking hate cold immersion, so I'm gonna do heat exposure. So there's a little bit of a personal bias on that, but I think also, you know, just something to keep in mind again is if you are doing the cold exposure, you probably want to get it as far away from physical activity as you can, maybe even, you know, hours before versus hours afterwards, because it's that after time that, again, is when the adaptation occurs. But I could also chalk a fair amount of this up to just kind of personal preference.